Harris's VP picked Tim Walz and his views on Palestine, Israel, and Gaza protests. Minnesota governor is lauded by pro-Israel groups while being targeted by Palestine solidarity activists demanding state divest from Israel. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz introduces Democratic presidential candidate Senator Amy Klobuchar during a campaign rally at First Avenue in Minneapolis, Minnesota, on January 17, 2020, Stephen Maturin/AFP. Published date, August 6, 2024, 1852 BST. Last update, 1 hour 32 minutes ago. Kamala Harris, the Democratic nominee for U.S. President, on Tuesday confirmed Minnesota Governor Tim Walz will be her running mate in the upcoming November election against Republican opponent Donald Trump. "I am proud to announce that I've asked Tim_Walz to be my running mate," Harris said on Twitter, making the announcement ahead of a rally in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. As a governor, a coach, a teacher, and a veteran, he's delivered for working families like his. The choice to bring in Walz comes after Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro had been seen as a top choice for the Harris camp. Shapiro has been heavily criticized in recent weeks for his volunteer service on an Israeli army base and for comparing pro-Palestinian student protesters to the Ku Klux Klan. Walz, who is lauded for his progressive views and his pro-labor stances, has appeared to straddle the line between maintaining a clear pro-Israel policy stance while not drawing the ire of some pro-Palestine progressives. Stay informed with Me's newsletters. Sign up to get the latest alerts, insights and analysis, starting with Turkey Unpacked. While serving in Congress, he was a reliable co-sponsor for a number of pro-Israel measures, including one in favor of renewing a 10-year memorandum to send billions of dollars in U.S. military aid to Israel. He has also previously met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and was notably not on the list of 58 Democrats who skipped Netanyahu's speech to Congress in 2015. The Walz pick was celebrated by pro-Israel groups, including the Democratic Majority for Israel, DMFI. Not only is Governor Walz an accomplished and beloved leader in the state of Minnesota, having been elected 6 times to the House of Representatives and twice to the governorship, but he is also a proud pro-Israel Democrat with a strong record of supporting the U.S.-Israel relationship, Mark Melman, a chair of DFMI, said in a statement. As governor, he has been a steadfast supporter of the pro-Israel community in Minnesota. Over the past few months, the governor has appeared to show more openness to hearing the demands of protesters demonstrating against the war on Gaza, as contrasted to Pennsylvania Shapiro, who compared the student protesters to the KKK and condemned UPenn for not doing enough to quell the protests. When the Uncommitted campaign, an electoral campaign calling on the Democratic Party to call for a ceasefire in Gaza, racked up 19% of the vote in the Democratic primary election earlier this year, Walz applauded the voters for being civically engaged. Governor Walz has demonstrated a remarkable ability to evolve as a public leader, uniting Democrats' diverse coalition to achieve significant milestones for Minnesota families of all backgrounds, Eliane Farhat, a senior advisor for the Uncommitted campaign, said in a statement. But given his voting record and ties to pro-Israel groups, it's unclear whether Walz would move the needle in terms of one of the main demands of pro-Palestinian voters, the end to U.S. military aid to Gaza and divestment from companies complicit in the war on Gaza and in Israel's occupation of Palestinian lands. Pro-Palestine protesters have been demanding that the state of Minnesota divest its financial stakes in Israeli companies and bonds, which they say are worth around $119 million. Activists have also for years been urging the state to repeal its anti-boycott legislation, which forces state contractors to sign a pledge that they will not engage in a boycott of Israel. The law was first passed in 2017, prior to Walz becoming governor. However, he has made no moves to try to repeal the law. In December, a group of 1,000 Palestinian solidarity activists in Minnesota disrupted Walz's Christmas party, demanding the governor commit to divesting from Israel. Governor Walz has ignored our calls for the divestment of taxpayer dollars and public pension funds from Israeli apartheid. But he will never stop hearing from us or seeing us until he finally ends Minnesota's complacency in genocide, Christine Hauskild of the Minnesota Anti-War Committee said back in December.